Town Board, you're live on the air and you're being recorded.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the August 5th meeting of the East Hampton Town Board. Carol, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Lee.
Present.
Councilman Overby.
Here.
Councilman Bradley.
Here.
Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this afternoon, we don't have any public hearings. We're going to start our meeting and hearing from our, Hugh, are you the town crier or the town historian today?
Town historian.
We've got the town historian here today. Then we'll go on to resolutions.
Thank you, Madam Vice. Wait a minute, Mike. How are you?
President. Just call her Your Excellency. That will do just fine.
Or deputy supervisor.
Deputy Supervisor, thank you very much. Jeez. Okay, remember last time I asked you some questions about people from Sag Harbor? So we can do that today. And then next time I come here, we'll talk about newspapers in Sag Harbor because Councilman Bradley mentioned that. So there's a whole bunch of stories about newspapers in Sag Harbor, but I believe the deputy supervisor had the first question of Polly Sweet.
Yes.
Who
So
was she?
Polly Sweet was born in Sag Harbor in 1815 and immediately upon getting married in 1835, convinced her husband that fame and fortune awaited them in California. Starting out by wagon, they traveled to Albany, across New York State to Buffalo, and by packet ship to Chicago. She eventually crossed the Rocky Mountains through Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and reached Sutter's Fort in California in 1845. Polly Sweet was the first woman from New York State to cross the Great Plains to the Pacific Coast by prairie wagon. When gold was discovered in 1848 in Central California, Polly Sweet became the first American woman at the scene of the discovery.
How about that? Polly Sweet from Sag Harbor. I hope you got that information from
Did I ring
Dorothy.
a bell?
Yes, Dorothy Zakowski's book, The Story of an American Beauty, Sag Harbor? No?
No.
Oh, well, that's a wonderful source.
That was my reference.
Yeah, of history about Sag Harbor. Her book, Sag Harbor, The Story of an American Beauty. They must have just taken that right from her book.
Mhm.
So great. That's it. That's it. Councilman Lees?
Thank you, Hugh. I had Fanny Tennyson. Fanny Tennyson was born in 1879, passed away in 1944. She was afflicted with infantile paralysis shortly after being born to Abraham Tennyson and Fanny Coles. Almost immediately losing the use of her arms and legs, her carpenter father built special implements so she could still work, including a chair and a workbench. And she was able to paint, draw, embroider, cut out paper flowers, and sew, only using her mouth and tongue. Even playing the mulattophone. I think I got that correct. A xylophone-like instrument struck with a mallet. She was also credited with having done wood burning, pyrography. She also won first prize in sewing and fancy articles at the Minnesota State Fair. She eventually supported her entire family who lived at 14 Hampton Street, exhibiting and selling her work at fairs, and became a vaudeville attraction. Her father and two cousins lived in the Fisherman's Cottage, which was built by her grandfather, a seafaring man and a soldier of the War of 1812. There's many of write-ups about her. I have a picture of her. I'll show the board at her workplace.
Oh, wow.
Tongue
Nice.
and sewing.
Where's it? I've never seen that picture. Wow.
They want to show it here on LTV. Bring it
Yeah.
over.
Mike, you got it?
I think one of the things that reminds me.
I'll get a close up of that, David. 1 second.
You got it.
There you go.
There we go.
And so that the paralysis, but that's her using her mouth with a needle, doing needlepoint. And so I think it reminds me of something that I tell my daughters, and they know for a fact, is that you never give up. And this is an example of a Sag Harbor woman that never gave up.
Oh,
That comes from empowering women, part of the Sag Harbor Partnership. Fanny Tennyson is also buried in Oakland Cemetery. And the last quote here, she never seems to have lost an ounce of dignity or good humorness in her occupations, inspired all who met her.
That's right. Okay, now we have Margaret and Olivia Slocum.
We do. So Margaret Olivia Slocum was born in 1828. She died Margaret Olivia Slocum Sage in 1918. She was known as Olivia throughout her life, and recently honored in 2018 with a historical marker in front of the Whaling Museum in Sag Harbor, where she lived after her husband passed away. She inherited over $63 million when her husband passed away, which was quite a bit of money in those days. It was in the late 1800s. The marker is located just inside the south driveway gate to the museum property. Sage was born in Syracuse, New York, so you may wonder why we're talking about her. But she was a teacher, and she married Russell Sage as his second wife. She inherited millions upon his death and used those monies to provide educational and progressive programs throughout the remainder of her life and endowments that were following after her death. Her association with and the generosity to the village of Sag Harbor is legendary. Sage summered in both Sag Harbor and elsewhere on Long Island. She purchased her home from the Hunting family in 1908, where she lived until her death. That home is now the Sag Harbor Whaling and Historical Museum. In 1910, she funded the building of the John Germain Library across the street from her then home, which she named in honor of her grandfather, who was Major John Germain, who fought in the American Revolution. Additionally, she donated funds to build Pearson High School, also named after a grandfather, and her mother, who was Margaret Germain Pearson, and that she donated that in 1908. She also donated funds for a public park to be developed for villagers and visitors to enjoy. Having developed the extensive park system in Sag Harbor, Sage's vision resulted in both Massachusetts Park and Otter Pond. So anyway, when you're checking out a book at the library to read, know that it came from Olivia Slocum.
Yes, she was, everyone thinks her name was Mrs. Russell Sage. That's how she was known throughout her life. And the other great part is Russell Sage was one of those robber barons. So he must be turning over in his grave as she gave all that money away.
She gave away over $23 million in her lifetime, not including the funds that she put aside for endowments. So that would use later. The property across, this is just interesting because of today's market. The property across from her, which was what she purchased for the library in 1910, it cost $10,000. It was the highest price ever paid for a piece of property in Sag Harbor at the time.
Oh my, wow.
An interesting footnote, I believe, if I'm doing this from memory, about Russell Sage that involves another person from East Hampton. There was an Osborne, it was the Osborne that set up Osborne Trust Bank in East Hampton. He left East Hampton for the big city, and he became something like an administrative assistant to Russell Sage in his offices in New York. And he was working there one day when an anarchist threw a bomb in the office and seriously injured him. And so this Osborne, ancestor decided to move back to East Hampton where things were quieter and lived out his life here and set up the first bank, which was the Osborne Bank Trust.
Osborne Trust Company. I wonder which Osborne that was.
I can find out because I remember it was.
Could be Joseph Osborne. He was the father of Nelson Osborne, who was a leader in the bank, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good start. And you had Joseph Fahey, right?
Yes. And I had more information on him, but from the book I can remember. Fahey was an entrepreneur who ran a very successful watch case business in New Jersey. I forget where it was in New Jersey. And actually, I think before that, or maybe as a result of that, he was an entrepreneur, and he was hired to build not the first bridge, but maybe the second bridge from North Haven to Shelter Island. And it was the first iron bridge, but unfortunately the pilings underneath were made out of wood. And his bridge, like the bridge before it, eventually collapsed. But along the way, he is the person that built the watch case factory in Sag Harbor. And interestingly, he imported workers from Europe that were largely Jewish immigrants and formed sort of the heart of the early Jewish community that later opened Temple Adas Israel. And then he went on. I know he had other projects, but I can't remember. He had a long career, and he was an investor in projects, and he expanded the watch case factory and really made it into the big business that it was. And the rest of his career, I don't remember, but he was a very active person in a variety of different investments and projects. And I find it remarkable that there was an era in America when silver watch cases were a big industry. Like everybody had to have a silver watch case. I may have left something out because I left the book at home. But
That's all right. We next time we'll do William Wallace Tooker.
I can do it right now if you'd like me to.
William Wallace Tooker?
I don't want to take away his.
Yeah, we better wait for the supervisor to get back.
Fair enough. You got it.
Unless you want to text him right now. No, kidding. All right, so next time we'll continue more with Joseph Fahey. We'll do William Wallace Tooker, and then I'll talk about newspapers in Sag Harbor. Okay? Thank you all for doing that work. You're all the town historians.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the public portion. Carol, I know that Charlie had signed up. Charlie, do you want to address the board?
How are you? Good afternoon. I'm back. Again. Let me just start. I have it written down. I have with me the 2002 East Hampton Comprehensive Plan recommendations for Copeland. In the 2002 Town of East Hampton Parks and Recreation Committee's recommendations to the comprehensive plan, the opening statement reads, quote, "A community like East Hampton with such an extraordinary setting should strive for far more than ordinary parks and community services. To provide a variety of opportunities that capitalizes on its remarkable resources and unique characteristics, East Hampton must create a vision for the future of parks and recreation services. The goal of this document is to provide for a logical, consistent, and purposeful approach to creating and managing parks and recreation services. The plan offers an inventory of existing facilities and programs, discussion of key issues and recommendations involving all facets of parks and recreation. This plan recommends the establishment of an East Hampton Park system and management categorization system to clarify the current status of parklands. This plan provides the context and rationale for these definitions," unquote. It made clear that accessibility to active and passive use parks is critical for users, and location is a key driver of use. That is why a strategically located system of parks is so critical. The plan further states, quote, "The town is geographically spread out. It is not easy for residents in Montauk to travel to Herrick Park in East Hampton Village to engage in recreational activities. Similarly, traffic concerns in and around East Hampton Village make it difficult for parents in Springs and Amagansett to transport their children to a recreational site in Wainscott. For this reason, we endorse the use of hamlet parks to meet the basic recreational needs of the community. A hamlet park is designed to meet the primary recreational needs of the hamlet in which it is located. Ideally, hamlet rec parks should be situated so that no one living in one hamlet must travel to another hamlet in order to engage in active recreation. Additionally, the plan declared that, quote unquote, the Little League practice can continue to use the lighted neighborhood scale park at Pentagon Place for the immediate future until more hamlet parks become available closer to where the children live. This is just sound logical planning. Closer to where the children live is not a throwaway phrase or esoteric concept, but focuses on fulfilling our community's active and passive recreational needs. In short, this is the only parks and recreation plan commissioned by the town of East Hampton in existence today. It's the only game in town. Nowhere in this plan does it suggest that any Little League facility or park be moved to Wainscott. On the contrary, it suggests moving parks closer to the young users and families in the other more populated hamlets. And for the simple reason that it would be unreasonable by any planning metric to compel parents and their children to drive across East Hampton town on a busy spring evening to recreate. That is a powerful impediment to use and is utterly unacceptable. Location is critical to accessibility and use. Location, location, location. We all understand its importance. In spite of all information to the contrary provided by this plan and expressed by the East Hampton Star, myself, and other community members, the town continues to forge ahead with full knowledge of its proposed planning followed at Stephen Hand's path. There is no reason for the East Hampton Little League to move to Wainscott. There's no Little League team there, no shops or stores to buy goods or run errands. There's no there at all. Just the town's recreational dumping ground known as Stephen Hand's Path Park. Poor planning is the opposite of good planning, and this town board is showing that it cannot tell the difference. It cannot be denied that the town's only interest in the East Hampton Little League at Pentagon Place is its desire to get rid of it. This town board's overriding concern is to secure the land for the Stony Brook Emergency Room Annex. If it had any sincere concern for the East Hampton Little League, it would never let our children play on fields in the condition we find the Pentagon Place fields in today, or attempt to lure them to Wainscott. The town only pretends to care now because it wants the land for the emergency room annex. If you so desperately desire the land for the emergency room annex, then take care of our children and families first, or leave the fields where they are. Recently, new properties have been purchased with CPF monies, and generally CPF purchased properties are available for recreational use. So I have some questions regarding several recent purchases. 395 Pentagon Road, I'm sorry. The town has purchased a property at 395 Pentagon Road, East Hampton. It is claimed that half of this property is set aside for recreation. Is there any movement on that? Is there any possibility of putting those fields in?
Charlie, this is public comment. We're not looking to engage and have a conversation. We're looking to hear from you. And if there's anything you want to submit for us to read later, you can pass that on to the clerk.
Okay, then I'll continue. 395, so that other people know what I'm talking about. 395 Pentagon Road was basically purchased in theory as an exchange for the fields of Pentagon Place. It's been slated for use in affordable housing, I understand. And anyway, you did say, I think Sylvia said the last time I was here, that it was half of that was for, well, it's stated that half of it is CPF money. And is it
Not half of it, part of it. Less than half.
less than that? So anyway, but that's still, I think it was 12 acres. So there's a substantial amount. Anyway, enough. This was 3 or 4 weeks. I just want to make a comment on the Bistrian property in Amagansett. It certainly looks to me like a Herrick Park in the making. The similarities are striking. I did ask John to please make available the tax map numbers of those parcels that are slated for purchase with the CPF money. And that's possible, is it?
Sure.
Yes. The town just spent millions of dollars on that land, and certainly, I know Sylvia mentioned it as used for agriculture, and I think it's possible to do both on that site, certainly. It's large enough, I think it's 17 acres of CPF funds, and you could do the exact same thing there that you've done over, that was here, that existed here, of course, of Pentagon Place, those fields back up to the railroad tracks. And it's right behind the stores in Amagansett. It would give easy access. Here's what I say. You could do coal in the front and you could have the fields in the back and so on and so forth. I think it's a great opportunity. When might there be discussion of that? Does anyone know? Discussion of the use of those parcels. When does that occur?
You did a resolution. We've already authorized the purchase of that for.
Right, that I was here for. Right. The question now becomes, when are you going to be discussing? Sylvia mentioned agriculture, I think it's you, Sylvia. When are you going to be discussing the intended use or the possible uses of that site?
It was in the adopted, in the resolution. It's for agriculture.
Yeah.
Public hearing.
And it's primary soil. It's something
You want to stick with that story, Sylvia?
that is primary soil.
I
Sorry,
grew up
Charlie,
in-
is there anything else?
I grew up, no, I want to say
So
one
you can
thing.
wrap up?
I want to say something.
Sure.
I grew up in Amagansett. I lived over the liquor store when I was a young man. We hunted those fields when we were young. We hunted them quite regularly. And I watched them strip the soil off the top of that field. So, yeah, it's good soil, Sylvia, but it has been disturbed. I just want to make that comment. It grows great corn. I spoke to Mr. Bishop, who was here that day, but it has been stripped once. Like 555, which we believe was stripped 3 times. They're not pristine. They're just what they are. And so you're saying that in the resolution, it states the intended use.
And it has the tax map numbers. So you go on
Where do I get that resolution?
townclerk.com.
Oh, it's on there. It's in there. Okay, I'm sorry.
I can email it to you.
Pardon me?
I can email it to you if you want.
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charlie.
Good afternoon, I'm Jane Mearing, MEHRNG, living in Amagansett.
Again, please.
Sorry?
Just spell it again.
Of course, I'm sorry, MEHRING. Thank you. So I listened to the town board meeting on the work session on Tuesday, and towards the end, I heard some discussion around 2 issues which are sort of related. One was the business called Hampton Beach Service, as well as the concession special permit that related to that large party. I think it was called on the Nova Braxton property. And so I had some thoughts, and I wanted to come and address the board and share some comments and some ideas I have for sort of specific concerns about that business, and then 2 overall requests. So first, with respect to Hampton Beach Services, I would like to express my appreciation to the board. I think once those activities sort of exploded on social media and it became more transparent what was going on, especially with the Indian Wells, you did really quickly come to a resolution to exclude Indian Wells and the beach in Winston from their permitted operations. So I appreciate that. I also want to preface my remarks with saying that I believe in capitalism. I truly admire entrepreneurial spirit and business ideas and support commercial endeavors of our local residents. And I understand that some may look quite favorably on this business for several reasons, including that it's a good way to make money, and especially coming out of the crushing losses of last year for our catering and our events planning people. However, with respect to these particular operations, ones that seek to leverage and profit directly off of the town and public natural resources, I think indeed there are good reasons to have concerns. And I ask, and I want to make clear that that sales of products and services, if the code talks about sales of products on the beach, maybe the code could be somehow amended ultimately to encompass the sale of services that take place on the beach. Here are my 4 primary concerns about the operation. That possibly this organization or this business is operating their business and offering or selling services, A, that are inconsistent with what they have represented to the town board, B, beyond the scope of their permit, as I understand it, and C, somewhat in direct contravention or inconsistent with the intent of town code. Second concern, that they are marketing, selling, and operating events that are of the type, size, and scope such that each could be viewed as requiring individual event special permits by a regular process and under town code, I think it's 151.5. Concern 3, that their business model sort of inappropriately exploits and compromises our public beaches, encroaches on and perhaps unduly burdens East Hampton town resources, and disturbs or even impedes in some way the public's normal use and right to passive and peaceful enjoyment of the beaches. And 4, that this business or this type of business fosters a rather bad and elitist mindset that is inconsistent with the principles of public beach access and can be quite detrimental to the character of the communities. I'm going to submit some written comments that have a lot of backup to this. But if you haven't seen them already, I would urge you to take a look at 3 different things. Number 1, their Instagram page and really look at the posts. Number 2, the link to their menu of services and their website. To answer Councilman Bradman's question that I asked at the meeting on Tuesday, is it true that a beach fire costs $499? Actually, according to their website, their beach fire services charge between $399 and $4,999 for beach fire parties and setups. Their menu also goes through some very extensive services and extensive services on the beach. I will, however, set your mind at ease that Kadima only costs $15 to rent, and that does include the ball. But overall, their postings clearly show that they are doing much more than dropping a few chairs at the beach, so some people don't have to schlep it on their own, or that they're just setting up and taking away code compliant fires. And I'll leave you to look at some of all of that. So I counted 14 recent posts that present images on their Instagram site of events that they organized and executed for a capacity of well in excess of 15 people. And it includes wide circles of chairs for 30 or 40 people, dining tables, chairs, coolers, and multiple beach fires in one area. I think that they also, what's not clear is where they're operating. So obviously the permit as adjusted now just leaves them basically downtown beaches. But if you look at their postings, they say that they will work for private residences, which means I guess they could set up anywhere on any beach contiguous or near in proximity to someone's house. Or they have a post from June that says that they operate in Wainscott, Nepean, Springs, sort of all over the place. So anyway, I guess my request is until there's a real clear understanding of what they do, where they do it, and how they do it, that the town really think about further restricting their activity, maybe not for the rest of the season, but going forward. So if I just might add on the Rubbergrass Party, just quickly. So you had a discussion about it, and the board acknowledged that there were 4 complaints that came in about the party over the course of the evening from about 5 until 11 p.m. I live all the way down at the bottom of Beach Hampton, and I will tell you, I think I know where that property is located. I heard that party loud and clear all night long until the music went off at about 11:30. I didn't quite make out Miley Cyrus's lyrics, but I know them well. I know that when when concerns come up and code enforcement goes out, the standard practice is to whip out the decibel meter reading and see if there's, a violation. But really, I want to just approach and say, disturbance is more than just a single reading, right? It's the intensity, it's the extent, it's the duration of sound. and the other sort of bad quality of life things that come along with them. I don't think the disturbance issue can be solved just with enforcement. And I'm going to venture that for every 4 people who called, there are 4 more, or 40 more, or 400 more who have their evenings and they're, really significantly disturbed by these events that go on. Our town is getting denser, our houses are getting bigger. Until something changes at the airport, more people can whiz in and, at a whim and go to events. Wealth continues to concentrate. I do believe there'll be more and more and more requests for these type of special events of a size and a scope that continues to expand. So my second request is that after this season, when it's all wrapped, that the board takes a fresh look at special events overall and really starts to ask some of the hard questions about where they should happen, how big they should be, the frequency of them. Again, no one wants to impose on the economics of our community and our business people, but still, I think this is going to become an ever increasing issue for quality of life and character in our neighborhoods.
Thank you, Jim. Mike, is there anyone on the line?
Yes, we have a caller on the line. I will unmute the caller. The last 4 digits are 7623. I'll unmute that caller now.
Hello, this is Martin Drew. How are you? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just to let you guys know, I'm following you on live stream, and your live stream is many minutes behind your spoken stuff on the telephone, so it's very difficult to follow this meeting. But anyway, I'll get to my business. Martin Drew from Springs, Rincon, and Berlin. So I just needed to make some comments today. I'm hoping that Miss Brennan was able to hand you folks the package I delivered through her office so you guys could have some good information in front of you. Yeah, so I'll just go for it, I guess. So you guys should have an information package in front of you about Rita's Cantina in Springs. My family's been complaining about that property since November 2020. I'll remind you guys it's August 2021. And we complained before the trees came down, before the picnic tables went in, and before the trailers showed up. So I'd like to recognize Kevin Cooper's gross incompetence in handling this situation as your department head for the code enforcement. So if we're going to start pointing fingers around town, I guess he's the gentleman responsible to make a decision whether something is right or wrong. And I guess that's why you guys pay him $90,000 a year. So his gross incompetence has led us to where we are now, to only realize that the properties are 2 separate properties. We have a number 10 Maidstone Park Road, which is vacant land, and it now occupies picnic tables, outdoor dining, and 4 business trailers from Food and Company and Hampton's Clam Bake, along with Rita's Cantina, which we're thinking might be a nationwide franchise according to the menu, style, and look, although they deny it. But we'll be in touch with Rita Cantina franchise to determine that, because that in itself would require a special town board permit to let a franchise open up. So we just want to let you folks know that we're very disappointed that this thing is even in operation right now. It's coming to the point where the parking issues are overbearing our community. Our quality of life is suffering. It's creating dangerous conditions down to the Maidstone Park beach area. And I want to thank Steve Lynch and Mr. Sarlo, Chief Sarlo, for getting together most recently. And I guess Ms. Burke Gonzalez had something to do with that, because we're finally starting to be heard. I got some messages today that you guys are going to be putting up some no parking signs down there. And you just recently removed some signs from the property where I guess Rita Cantina had the audacity to put up Rita Cantina parking only signs, and others will be towed at their expense, while they have the audacity to have their restaurant operating in the right-of-way of the East Hampton Public Road. So this place, it was since the 40s, operating on a pre-existing non-conforming status. When I read between the lines on that, it says, you're big enough, you don't get to do anymore. And right now that we've discovered number 10 is a vacant lot, there shouldn't be anything there. And to tell you the truth, I'd like to go into a little bit of the history here for you. You folks in an environmental agenda tore down my grandfather's legacy across the street, 4 apartment buildings, I guess for concern about the environmental concerns about the cove. So I can only say this, 185 people dining every night are sure more of a septic problem than 4 families trying to live their lives in East Hampton. So I'm sure you guys didn't pay $700,000 for my grandfather's old place so that you can let this restaurant become the next Cyril's in our community, because that's what it's become down for us. The trash, the noise, the speeding. I'm assuming some of our cats and animals will be dead soon when people start running them over because they're drunk coming out of that place. But Mr. Wu is aware of this because he submitted a site plan, because that property has never had a site plan. So apparently they're going for a site plan application. Now, Mr. Wu recognized it because his blue lines on the site plan would indicate that they are separate lots. So there is a problem where the 2005 survey by David Saskis shows nothing there in the area to the left, but the reality is he shows it as one parcel. So we've discovered as of yesterday with your tax assessors and the tax department and the assessors department that these lots are single and separate IDs, separate ID numbers, separate tax bills, all of that. So we're just wondering what you folks are going to do about it, because apparently this seems like some political collusion to me, because the reality is how does a person operate over and above the law while he lines his pockets while he's ruining our neighborhood and has no lawful authority to be there whatsoever? So we're hoping all your town departments will get together and realize the huge error that's going on here and shutter that place effective immediately. We don't expect, after being in our homes for 70 years here, my mom's a 70-year resident here, she doesn't expect our town to turn into the next Cyril's down the parking lot where we have to battle traffic to take a ride around the Simple Beach. And the reality of our beach is it's for the residents only of the town of East Hampton, which requires a permit. So let's not think we're going to have this traffic from the Rita Cantina that's operating illegally move over to start parking in the park. So the park is for residents only and requires a permit. So you guys should be reminded of that as well. So, the simple fact we're also having a problem with is this Rita Cantina denies that they're a franchise, although they have the same menu style and look to their business. And I guess without finding out from Rita Cantina franchise themselves, nobody has proved that one way or the other. They're just allowing this to happen. So Richard Girardi, who I think is a Long Island Building Institute award-winning realtor, if not him or the other Girardi, some Girardi is playing us all the fools. So I guess we're hoping that you guys do the right thing here, because we're tired of this type of conduct with our town officials. Like, I'd like to remind you guys, it was November 2020 we made our complaint, before the big tree came down, before the trailer showed up, before the picnic tables and outdoor dining showed up, and you were all sent away on an owner's statement saying, oh, we're only painting the inside. I guess we need these bobcats to hold the paintbrush inside on an 8-foot building. So when the bobcats were there, they've excavated the easements, and you need to be aware of number 25 across the street as well. Number 25 Maidstone Park Road has also been carved out and used as parking, and it also is a vacant lot, which should have nothing on it. So number 25 is violating the law. Number 10 is violating the law. And this whole situation is violating my sanity. So I've done everything with my family to bring a lawful redress, I believe you guys called it, and you guys have just played us like fools. So I hope you guys have your next meeting and you decide what is the facts here. And I know you guys have a hard time digesting the facts sometimes. It took me 15 years to convince you folks that we were called Springs and not the Springs. So I can only imagine how long this might take. But the reality is, please do something about it and realize your code enforcement guy, Kevin Cooper, is grossly incompetent as to his position. And if the reality is that's a $90,000 paid gentleman, he decided to play politics instead of doing his job. So he dissuaded some of my people that I know down at code enforcement from doing their job. So believe me, behind the scenes, I know. And the reality is, please do something about it. And if you guys have everything, I've sent a bunch of stuff around town. I think you have more facts than any one of your planners or your code enforcement folks took the time to find in due diligence, we like to call it. You got to find everything and apply the facts from there. So I guess to close this out, I'd just like to thank the Chief Solo for talking to me this morning, telling me he's going to help out with the parking problem. And meanwhile, while you politicians sort out what the legal affairs are here, and Mr. Steve Lynch also assisted me in that by referring that to the chief, because he knows it's a dangerous condition down there as well. So be reminded that they also carved out the easement on the left side of that property and created this de facto parking lot. So, and then lastly, in closing, I offer Gonzalez an apology for my conduct yesterday when we spoke. I got a little mouthy and fresh because I was a little upset after speaking to Kevin Cooper, who decided to mock me, my family, and my life. So I was a little upset by the time I got a call from Ms. Gonzalez. So Ms. Gonzalez, please accept my apology. I know I'm a little mouthy. I'm an old-time carpenter, so the F-bombs, don't mind them. They really don't mean anything other than I'm excited in the moment. So I stay with the facts always, and I hope you guys digest these facts accordingly and make the right decision, because our lives matter, our neighborhood character matters, and if this was all an environmental agenda when you tore down my grandfather's place, well, maybe you guys should consider buying this place as well. I understand the seller's positioning himself to sell to these 3 businesses that are operating there now. So obviously he's a willing seller. So maybe you guys should get in there and buy that place and tear it down with the bulldozers, just like you did my grandfather's legacy, all on an environmental agenda, and we will applaud you. You all have a great day, and thanks for hearing me out.
Thank you, Martin. Mike, is there anyone else on the line?
No, there is not. There are no other callers.
Thank you. All right, so we'll move on to resolutions. Resolution 2021-880 is approval of the warrant. Claims total $3,318,604.24. The utility warrant totals $48,575.43.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2021-881 is a bond authorizing $150,000 for Pheasants Wood Lane. It amends the previous bond.
Second.
Carol, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Perkins Ellis.
Aye.
Councilman Reese.
Aye.
Councilwoman Yocum.
Aye.
Councilman Bradford.
Aye.
2021-882 is the reclassification and promotion of Amanda Bennett. Amanda is appointed to the title of Principal Office Assistant with East Hampton Town Police Department. Her annual salary is $56,785.04 for a 40-hour work week, retroactive to August 4th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
883 is training for Detective Anderson to attend the Colonel Henry F. Williams Homicide Seminar sponsored by the New York State Police.
Second.
Financial impact is $1,200. All in favor?
Aye.
2021-884 is for training for Police Officer Nimmo and Police Officer McNamara to attend the 2021 NYTOA SWAT Tactical Training Conference with a financial impact of $2,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
885 is training for Sergeant Alversa and Police Officer Nimba to attend the Law Enforcement Training Directors Association of New York State 2021 Fall Conference with a financial impact of $1,400.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
886 is a payout upon retirement for Carol L. Bennett. If we look at vacation time, sick time, compensatory time, and an hourly rate of $24.71, prorated longevity. Her gross total for her payout is $21,391.55.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
887 is a payout upon resignation for Laura Weir. Look at her vacation hours, compensatory hours at an hourly rate of $29.92 for a gross total of $2,437.28.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2021-888 is a payout upon resignation for Erin King. We calculate vacation hours, compensatory time, and plus her healthcare buyback. It's for a gross total of $6,005.40.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
889 is to pay the notary license fee for Nancy Linfield in the amount of $60.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
890 is to reimburse the notary license fee for Jameson McWilliams in the amount of $60.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2021-891 is approval of various special event permits. For Hampton's Pride, Inc., it's the Hampton's Pride Sunday Tea Dance at Wainscott Green, Rickville Mastro Park, Sunday, September 12th, 3 to 7 p.m. with a rain date of Sunday, 9/19. The Montauk Chamber of Commerce, Montauk Movie Night at the Montauk Soccer Field on Tuesdays in August, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, and the 31st from 5 to 11:30. That includes all the setup. The Montauk Chamber of Commerce, Montauk Chamber Annual Fall Festival on the Montauk Green, Saturday and Sunday, October 9th and 10th from 10 to 5 p.m. East Hampton Volunteer Ocean Rescue, Red Devil Swim at Atlantic Avenue Beach on Sunday, September 5th from 5:15 to 9 p.m. East Hampton Lions Club Annual Chicken Barbecue Fundraiser at the American Legion, Post 419 in Amagansett on Saturday, September 18th from 8 to 8. The Gurney's American Express Platinum and Saks Star Island Summer Live Performance at Gurney Star Island Resort and Marina on Saturday, August 7th from 7:30 to 9:30. Gurney's American Express Platinum and Saks Star Island Summer at the Star Island Resort and Marina. And it's for 3 weekends in August 6th, 7th, and 8th, August 13th, 14th, and 15th, and August 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
2021-892 is a notice for an RFP, EH 2021-107. It's for merchant card, internet, and/or electronic payment processing services proposal. It's available August 12th and due back on September 9th.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 893 is to accept proposal EH 2021-102. That's for professional engineering services for town projects. And Jeannie Carrozza spoke about that at the work session this week. It goes to LK McLean Associates PC and Nelson and Pope Engineering, Architecture, and Land Surveying.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
894 is to retain LK McLean Associates PC for the YMCA roof and HVAC project. And that funding is, financial impact is $68,400, and it's coming from the YMCA Capital Improvement Reserve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
895 is to amend Resolution 2021-766, reimbursement for food for the 3 Mile Harbor fireworks for 2021. Additional food was needed for law enforcement and public safety workers. We had originally approved $750. It's being amended to not exceed $950.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
896 is to authorize an agreement with Tyler Technologies, Inc., which provides software application maintenance and support. And the financial impact is $6,366.93.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 897 is an amendment to the memorandum of agreement between the town and the CSCA pertaining to night differential payment. And that is reflected in the memorandum of agreement dated August 2nd, 2021, and covers the period July 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2023. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby ratifies said memorandum of agreement to amend the CSCA collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
I'd like to offer resolution 2021-898, schedule a public hearing to go over the 2021 CPF project plan update. Public hearing is hereby scheduled to be held and proposed local law adopting the revised community preservation project plan pursuant to section 64-E in New York state law. This will happen on Thursday, August 19th at 11 a.m.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Offer resolution 899, it's to recreate custodial worker 3 and amended CSEA Schedule A. Whereas CSEA Schedule A is hereby amended to reflect the regrade of the title of custodial worker 3 from grade 16 to grade 19 effective immediately, and there is no financial impact of this regrade.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 2021-900 is title changes for recreational employees in the sailing program. For Michael Clancy, recreational specialist, $20 an hour, retroactive to 7/30/21, and Sarah Gallagher, assistant recreational leader, hourly rate of $17.50 per hour, retroactive to 7/21/21.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 901 is a payout for Sharon Rack, who passed away unfortunately on May 17, 2021. Her last day of, she was employed as a town full-time position as custodial worker 2 in the Department of Buildings and Grounds. Her last day worked was April 20th, 2021. We're going to issue a check for her vacation hours, $4,513.50, sick time and personal hours of $8,348.70, and compensatory hours at $6,369.52. Prorated longevity, $825, retroactive payment for 2021 at $388.13, for a gross total of $20,444.85 payable to the state of Sharon Rack as a final payout.
Second. All in favor?
902 is authorized payment for Verizon for past due invoice from 2019 in the Buildings and Grounds Department for $91.44.
Second. All in favor?
903 is a notice of bidders for H21-032. This is for the town's annual drainage contract, A, B, and C bid. They're available August 5th. Bid packages are available August 5th, 2021. The bid due back is on August 26th, 2021. If you have any needs for more specifications, please contact the purchasing department between hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday and Friday, so holidays beginning August 5th at 631-324-4141.
Second. All in favor?
Bid 904 is a reject bid EH21021 for the Springs Library roof replacement. Whereas the consulting engineer Elkin McLean Associates has recommended rejecting the bid, the town board reserves the right to reject any and all bids. Therefore, we now reject EH21-021 for the Springs Library roof replacement that the bid went out initially on May 6, 2021.
Second. All in favor?
905 is accept bid EH21-030 for the Phillips property demolition to Ken Russell. We're accepting the bid at a total cost of $77,059.
Second. All in favor?
906 is a budget modification for Highway Department. We're moving from line subject for $2,000 to general repairs in the amount of $2,000.
Second. All in favor?
907 is a budget modification for joint fuel facility. We're from insurance line for $200, light and power amount of $1,000, and bringing that over to building maintenance and supplies in the amount of $1,200.
Second. All in favor?
908 is a budget modification for the town attorney's office. This is where where our projected need for additional funding for outside counsel and legal support in legal matters. We're now making the budget modification at $80,000 for unreserved surplus to $80,000 for outside professional.
Second. All in favor?
909 is a budget modification for aquaculture. We're moving for part-time salaries, $4,374, other equipment in the amount of $4,374.
Second. All in favor?
910 is a budget modification for parks and recreation, where we're bringing safety supplies in the amount of $600 to another line budget item for safety supplies in the amount of $600.
Second. All in favor?
911 is a budget modification for buildings and grounds. We're bringing the amount of $1,600 for full-time salaries, the telephone in the amount of $1,600.
Second. All in favor?
Resolution 2021-912 is a budget modification for the highway department, where we're bringing $200 from the drainage improvement line to subcontractor costs in the amount of $200.
Second. All in favor?
2021-913 is a separate grant and budget modification. This is where the town of East Hampton applied for the grant in an amount of $5,600 from the Preservation League of New York State to assist with the cultural resource survey for local cemeteries with historical significance to national historical places. The town is required by the granting agency to provide a 20% match in the amount of $1,400 for work to be done on the project, for a total amount of $7,000 for the project. We're increasing the revenue line from grants and others to the amount of $5,600. We're also increasing the expenditure line for subcontracting costs from $5,600. And then we're bringing from general repairs, which is the line that we have for cemeteries, from $1,400, moving that to the subcontractor costs for the amount of $1,400.
Second. All in favor?
914, I would like to table.
Do you need a second for that? No. Resolution 2021-915 is notice of
I do
public.
need a second to table.
You do need a
Second.
second. I second the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-915 is notice of public hearing. 2022 Section 8 Administrative Plan is whereas the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development requires that all entities administrating housing choice voucher programs adopt a plan, including a comprehensive administrative plan for the program. The scheduled public hearing is Thursday, October 7th, so well in advance, at 2 p.m. The draft of the plan shall be available for inspection at the Office of Housing and Community Development located at 267 Bluff Road in Amagansett, New York. between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., starting August 20th, 2021, and will be available on the town's website at www.ehamptonny.gov. In order to be considered, all comments on the draft of the plan must be submitted in writing to Thomas E. Rule, Director of the Housing Office of Housing and Community Development at 159 Pentagon Road, East Hampton, New York 11937, before 3 p.m. on October 6th, or introduced at the public hearing to be held October 7th at 2 p.m. or soon thereafter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-916 is resale of a Whalebone Woods. The town of East Hampton is considering the acquisition of a home previously constructed under the town's affordable housing program located within the town of East Hampton, located at 11 Joshua Edwards Court. For the purpose of maintaining affordable housing, the town board wishes to secure an appraisal of this property to reflect the fair market value of the home and the land together, and the land only. We will be using Clark and Marshall appraisal for the appraisal not to exceed $1,100.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-917 is to amend Resolution 2021-237. It's a budget modification. This was to retain the firm of Fine Arts and Sciences to provide professional consulting services for the town. And the resolution did not name the appropriate budget account code to ensure proper payment. So it's resolved that the budget account code is now gone to outside professional. So we're taking from budget line part-time salaries in the amount of $25,000 to outside professionals in the amount of $25,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-918 is a budget modification. This is resolved that the following budget modification is for heat. This is actually in the housing department, although it doesn't say it except under the department. Heat for $650, and from another budget line within the community housing development department, light and power is $650.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-919 is a budget line for under bookkeeping for part-time salaries in the amount of $1,100, moved to overtime in the amount of $1,100.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-920 is an RFP EH 2021-106 for professional services for 100% renewable energy roadmap plan for the town of East Hampton. Proposal available August 12th, 2021, and due back on September 9th, 2021. We heard it from Jeannie Carrozza this past Tuesday.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-921 is to reject bid EH 21031 for the aquaponic solar pollinator meadow. We were asked to reject that, and we'll get back to it with additions and clarity in the future.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-922 is to retain counsel for the Manor House year 2021, Sirleman Balin, and this is with Donna Marie Korth, Esquire. We need her now to prepare the offering plan and the condominium declaration, the bylaws of the Board of the Managers of the Manor House condominiums, and to process the offering plan of the condominium to its final effectiveness for the town's 12 affordable housing condominium development. And this is not to exceed $25,000. This resolution is retroactive to January 1st, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-923 is to retain environmental counsel for the Manor House for 2021. This is Regano LLC, who represents clients in various issues with factors on environmental matters. The town had encountered some air quality issues related to the construction of our affordable housing development. We are retaining them for 2021, and we will increase revenue line for using the sale of real properties, $30,000, and increase outside professional for $30,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And resolution 2021-924 is to hire an appraiser for Whalebone Woods. This is a home previously constructed in the town's affordable housing program. This is at 23 McElnay Street.
McElnay.
Okay, in East Hampton. Sorry, I don't pronounce that correctly. The town board wishes to secure an appraisal on this property to reflect the fair market value of the home and lot together and the land alone. This is resolved that Clark and Marshall is to be retained for the appraisal not to exceed $1,100.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Resolution 2021-925 is a budget modification and code enforcement, moving money in the amount of $3,000 from computer software to uniforms.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-926 is authorized payment of costs to Burge Region, and this is related to a Article 7 real property tax matter, and settlement is in full satisfaction of all costs and disbursements permitted, and it's in the amount of $400.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-927 is to authorize payment for time entries from a 2021 invoice from HNNH in the amount of $2,062.50.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-928 is to accept a proposal under a request for proposals for engineering services by Nelson Pope Engineering, Architectural and Land Surveying, and authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement with them in reference to, this is Camp Hero, at the recommendation of Tom Rule, the Director of Housing and Community Development.
You want to state the
I'm sorry, the financial impact is $78,661.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's all we have for resolutions unless somebody else has anything else to add.
So do we have a motion to go into executive session?
We do. I move to enter into executive session to discuss the acquisition of real property, to discuss personnel in the Buildings and Grounds Department, the Sanitation Department, and the Highway Department, and to receive advice from counsel.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We want to do that at 3:15? Does that work? That's fine. 3:15. We'll send out a link.
Yeah,
Oh, are we doing this?
remotely.
Well, is there anybody calling in or could we do it right
Yeah,
here?
we do have at least one outside council calling in.
Okay, but we're done with the meeting here, Mike.
Okay, stand
Mike,
by. I'm gonna fade off. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks.